I definitely gave half my sermon, so it will be about 5 minutes more. I don't know why, but I always get kind of nervous when I get up here. I feel like I'm really not worthy, to be up here speaking. There's so many more brothers and sisters who have such powerful stories to tell and have done so much, and really so grateful for each and every one of you. And thank you. Thank you, praise team. You probably noticed new members of the praise team, right? Yes. Marcus over there. Nikito. And I'm not sure if you know this, but now the direction of the praise team is coming from Sato and Ilya. We're working together to take us to the next level. I'm just a quiet complainer in the back. Okay, I guess I must have pushed the button a few times, so. Yes, it is on gratitude. Gratitude and ways of expressing gratitude. And, that kind of reminds me of a couple stories. There was this woman who was an amazing painter. In fact, she was a famous painter. She painted all around the world, and people came from afar to see her work. As she got older, she started losing her eyesight. And she started getting really nervous about this because being a painter, of course, you need to see colors clearly and definition, and it's really important. So she went to a famous surgeon, and the surgeon worked with her and did some surgery and some rehabilitation, and behold, her eyesight came back, and she was so happy and so grateful. She was really grateful, and she wanted to show her appreciation. Yeah, so what she decided to do was she would paint the doctor's office. So she did. She went in and asked if it was okay, and he said yes, and she went in and she painted this doctor's office. And on the wall, she put this huge eye, which you've already seen, and this was the masterpiece. And she invited the press to come see it. The press came, and the doctor's there, the famous surgeon, eye surgeon, and the news people, they said, asked the doctor, so what did you think about painting, especially that big eye right in the middle of the wall? He said, I was just so glad that I'm not a proctologist. Think about it. How about the Jewish grandmother? Maybe you've heard this before, but it is a good one because there's a Jewish grandmother who takes her grandson to the beach. And as you can see, he's playing, having fun, and just everything's wonderful. And this great big wave comes in, splashes in. And when the wave goes out, the grandson was gone. Oh no, it's right, yeah. And she looked everywhere and she couldn't find him. And she says, Lord, why have you done this? Haven't I been a great grandmother and a mother and a wife? And didn't I uphold all your commandments? And didn't I work very hard to keep my house clean for you and to do everything all in Okay. In comes another big wave, and there's her grandson sitting there splashing away. And he says, okay, are you happy now? He goes, but he had a hat. But seriously, how appropriate is it that we're talking about gratitude in this week of Thanksgiving? And, I broke it down a little bit. Happy giving thanks, or thanks, happy giving. But it's really is a time of really thinking about this. It's really, really so important that we have gratitude and really care and think about others and show our gratitude. And that's why partially we're going to be talking about ways to do that. But, Thanksgiving is a special time, isn't it? Is everybody preparing for Thanksgiving? Yeah? No? Everybody going through your calendars? No. And, relatives come in, you spend time together and sharing things, right? So it's a special time. I remember at our house, Thanksgiving was always a wonderful time. I don't know if you ever did this, but we sat around the dinner table, before the meal, I tell everybody, okay, we're going to go around the table and we're going to share something that you're grateful for. And I'd start, and Claudia would say something, my kids would go, Dad, come on. I don't know if that happened at your house, but it's all joys and such great memories. Thanksgiving really is an amazing time, a time when we can really share and have gratitude. So, I'm not sure if you know about Colossians. Basically, it goes on to talk about how we really must not complain, how we must really love and take care of each other. It says, and let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to which also you were called in one body, and be thankful. So basically, it's really like a forgive, love, unite, and be thankful. Thankfulness is the most important key. This is something that really leads to everything else, and we really need to put in our hearts this gratefulness and thankfulness and expressing it. So, I'm going to reiterate a little bit. Because the pilgrims that came over, they actually were separatists in the Puritan side. And they wanted freedom of religion. So they actually they went to Holland and began a church there. But they found that still they weren't really allowed to do what they could do. They really weren't given that freedom that they really needed. So they thought that the Dutch way of life was kind of ungodly. So they went to London and went to a stock company there and got them to finance their trip over to America. Of course, not sure if you know, but there wasn't so many pilgrims in those days going over as separatists. Actually, there was many that were going over to not protect so much the pilgrims, but protect the interests of the stock company. So they weren't so holy and they weren't so thankful and those kind of things, but they went along and that's how we got going there. And then, so the pilgrims, they landed on Plymouth Rock on December 11th, 1620. And the first winter, as they said, was devastating. Really, really bad. But they made it through the winter. And actually, they lost 46 of the original 102 pilgrims. But the next year, their crop was bountiful. And so they got together, and the harvest of 1621, they had a feast. And they invited 91 natives who came and shared this Thanksgiving time with them. And as they said, they really gave thanks. They gave thanks for their lives, to be alive. They thanked God for their friendships. They thanked God for the bounty that they had. And really shared that. However, that really wasn't the first Thanksgiving. It's kind of celebrated as, but actually Thanksgiving came about in 1789. And George Washington proclaimed it a national holiday, Thanksgiving. Now you would think everybody would say, that's a great idea, right? But actually there's many people that were really opposed to it. So it didn't actually become a state holiday then. There was a woman called Sarah Josephina Hale, and she was a magazine editor. And she started writing articles and writing letters and talking and reaching out to people. And she did this for 40 years. 40 years. She never gave up. And at the end of 40 years, in 1863, President Lincoln actually proclaimed the fourth Thursday in November as the National Day of Thanksgiving. And so we've been celebrating ever since with turkeys, and these people really took to heart I just gave away my sermon. Thessalonians 5:16, that says, rejoice evermore, pray without ceasing, in everything, In everything, give thanks. For this is the will of God. But you know, it isn't always like that, is it? We want to know, where's my hat? Where's the hat? You know? And if you look, we complain about the great things sometimes. Oh, that meal was good except for, actually the potatoes are cold, Gosh, your car is really, really nice except for the color's not my favorite. Oh, you have a beautiful home, but this is kind of a funny street here. Is everything go on here? You guys safe here? There's always this little catch sometimes in this, trying to be grateful and trying to really not complain, but have this gratitude, but sometimes it doesn't always turn out that way. Reverend Moon once, as you know, was a fisherman, and he would go out fishing. And this one time especially, Father was out there, and they caught this load of fish, but for some reason it was just terrible smelling. And Reverend Moon, who doesn't usually get seasick because he'd been on the ocean many times, really started getting really sick and just not feeling well. So he started thinking about this. He said, first I thought, I'm no good because I'm feeling so bad over this fish. Then I began to think differently and said, I have to pay indemnity. When I realized that, the sickness disappeared because I could love that smell. It meant I could pay indemnity for something or for someone. I was able to gain a sense of gratitude for that smell. And with that, I overcame any feeling of seasickness. So it's kind of how we think about things, right? So there's many ways to look at things. We get many things come up in our lives, but it's how do we look at it? I never did figure it out. Maybe somebody can help me after the sermon, because this comes from Exodus 20:20, but that's not Exodus 20:20. It's in Judaism, but it says, be not like those who honor their gods in prosperity and curse them in adversity. In pleasure or pain, give thanks. So there's a lot to give thanks for, isn't there? Right? God. I've learned a lot assisting Reverend Compton in the 7-day workshops, learning about the heart of God. And, there's 3 different types of God's heart. And the first one is the heart at the creation. Many people think that God just snapped his fingers and boom, there's light, and boom, there's the earth, and boom, there's animals, and boom, there's Adam and Eve. But as we know, it took millions, maybe billions of years to actually create this beautiful paradise that we live in. And so that was God's heart, to give everything to his children. And in that, we should learn the heart of gratitude. The gratitude for God and the gratitude for true parents and all that they've done for us. There's a lot to be grateful for. I thought this is 30 days of being grateful. And I won't go through them all, but I think that when Reverend Jesper last week talked about the journal, and he said 3 things a day, and I started thinking, gosh, I wonder if I can come up with 3 things a day. Of course, the first couple of weeks I can, but after the first month or first year, could I still be going? And I started really thinking about this, and after researching a little bit, I thought, well, of course you can. If you take just one thing, what smell are you grateful for today?
What?
Smell of brothers and sisters in church. When I woke up, smell of my wife. She smells beautiful. Yes. As I went in the kitchen, smell of coffee. The smell of the outdoors. It goes on and on and on. And actually, it goes on and on and on. What food are you most grateful for? Right?
Me.
And that can be, what food are you grateful right now? An omelet. Father really liked those big omelets over at IHOP. Yeah. What's it called? The Colorado. Oh, he loved those. He used to go there a lot. Eat the Colorado omelets. Oh, they're so good. Every time I go there, I order one of those. I pretend like I'm sitting with Father. Yeah. And for lunch, I'll be grateful for maybe a nice sandwich, you know. But there's so many that we can be grateful for, so it doesn't have to end with, I'm grateful for food. Yeah, okay, but I'm grateful particularly. And then you can start narrowing it down. What holiday are you grateful for? Well, this month I'm grateful for Thanksgiving. And what season are you grateful for? Well, summer for me. I'm not so grateful in winters, but as many of you know, but you know, we all can go on and on with each little thing, and we should look at things that way. You know, think about that. Like Reverend Jesper said, in the morning, you know, or at night, start that journal that you can really write these things down, because then when you write them down, it makes a bigger impact on you. It really stays in your mind, and then you can think about being grateful. What knowledge are you grateful for? You're 17. Well, I'm grateful for knowledge that your parents gave us, right? Of course, I'm grateful for other knowledges, like the knowledge of my life. But it goes on, and we really need to think about these things, because it's so easy to go the other way, to, where's the hat? You know, or gosh, it's a beautiful home, but this is a lousy street. You know, we have to really find the good in everything that we look at, everything that we do. But, you know, feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. This is by William Arthur Ward. Isn't that true? So I'm grateful how my wife smells. But if I don't show that gratitude, you know, what good is it? I'm grateful, so what? That's me. But how can I show that gratitude? How can I appreciate that wonderful smell? Yes. Where was I? So I was reading, it was by someone that wrote a book called A Journey That Will Change Your Life, Living in Gratitude. And she goes on to talk about expressing gratitude towards others is one of the biggest gifts you can give to them. As we show our thankfulness to family, friends, acquaintances, and strangers, our hearts expand, and we lift each other up. Research has shown that the practice of gratitude helps us cope better with stress. Anybody have stress here?
Yeah.
The practice of gratitude helps us cope better with stress. Yeah. It improves our health. Anybody want to be more healthy?
Yes.
Yeah. And increases positive feelings such as hope, peace, and happiness. In that book, she goes on to say, though conscious and sustained practice over a period of time, we can discover again how gratitude and all its related qualities, thankfulness, appreciation, compassion, generosity, grace, and so many other positive states can become integrated and embodied in our lives. And when people in great numbers choose to practice, integrate, and embody gratitude, the cumulative force that is generated can help create the kind of world we all hope for. and desire for ourselves and for the future generations. So it sounds like something Father would say. But yeah, it's just, they did studies on it. And they found that the change of heart, the change of feeling, the change in your mind, the change of how you are and how you appreciate, it grows. But we have to work at it. It doesn't come easy. How many times, Paulina, have I told you how good you smell? So, as I was saying, how to show gratitude. There's so many of them. And I thought I'd go through them all. There's not too many. I got, let's see, about 90 there. No. There are lots of ways to show gratitude, and I'm just going to talk about a few of them. One is to adopt the habit of grateful thinking. You know what? It can become a habit, right? It isn't natural. I don't tell my wife how good she smells every day. Or maybe ever, I'm not sure, but you know, it's a habit that you can build. It says, by focusing your attention all that you are grateful for each day. After 21 days, as scientists say, you will have created a habit. That's interesting. 21 days of doing that, of practicing that, after 21 days, it can become a habit. And you can start with those early morning practices. When you first get up, look around the room and what is it in that room that you're grateful for? Well, I'd say Claudina. But there may be something else in the room there that really you're grateful for. And what's also important in doing this for 21 days, vow not to complain for 21 days. Because that kind of, you know, it kind of goes back and forth. If you're complaining and gratitude, they kind of cancel each other out. So you have to really make a resolution not to complain for 21 days. As Reverend Jesper said, keep a gratitude journal and write down what you're grateful for each day. And it helps us think about what's good in life rather than what we're lacking or what we're unhappy with. You know, you can even buy a nice journal or do a digital journal. But if you're focusing on what you're grateful for, then you don't have time to think about what's making you unhappy. Recognize each day as a gift. Now, you youngsters may not appreciate this, but as we get older, we do recognize each day more as a gift. Every morning that I wake up, I'm really, truly grateful because you just never know. And do you appreciate each day? Oh, I'm alive. I'm so grateful I'm alive. Take nothing for granted. Do we ever do that? Carlina? Oh, she's going to yell at me after this. Right. Take nothing for granted. Sometimes, well, I think she smells good, and I really mean that, but how often do I say it? Because maybe I just take it for granted. We end up taking a lot of things for granted, right? And we just feel, well, it's okay, but it's not okay. It's really not okay. And having a grateful heart, to feel grateful, you have to work at it. You have to think about it. You have to really tune your mind into being grateful, to really caring about people, to really reaching out to people. And that's what changes your life. And that's what can also change the world. Cultivate an attitude of gratitude. Have you heard that one before? Attitude of gratitude. Thinking about how to be more grateful, followed by actions that support this thinking, help to make gratitude more of a habit rather than a fleeting emotion. As we focus what we are thankful for, fear, anger, bitterness lessen, and we help to retrain our minds towards positivity. So positive thinking is very important, right? Wouldn't you say? You know, they said, Jesus said, if you believe and say, remove this mountain, it would be removed. The power of positive thinking in God, really, all the negative things take away from that. So as you're trying to become more positive, as you're trying to really create a beautiful world, you have to get rid of those things that are getting in the way. Give hope and encouragement to someone in need. Because your compassion can have an inspiring, even life-changing effect on another person. You know, when you go to the restaurant and the waitress comes up, wow, what a beautiful smile. Or, oh, you have a beautiful name. Or if you see someone on the street, wow, that's such a cool shirt. Where'd you get that? You know, I don't mean just make something up, but there's always good in everything. And if you look at somebody and say that, and look at them and say that compliment, it can really make a difference in their life. Leave encouraging words for someone. Next time, I just said that. Here's a good one. Offer to take a task or project off a loved one's hands. So guys, Thanksgiving's coming this week, right? Right? And the wife's going to be in there all day cooking, right? Making pies and turkey and or maybe it's mom or whoever. Jump in the kitchen. Jump in the kitchen afterwards. Wash your dishes. Clean up. Do that job that you don't usually do. That's really special. It really shows how much you care. This is a big one. Forgive someone. You know, sometimes in our lives we get angry at somebody, or there's somebody that we're just not so comfortable with. But we can forgive for a better life by focusing on what we can be thankful for in a situation where a person has harmed us. This is tough, especially when the harm was life-altering. However, if we can look for the good that come out of the situation, it can help us to forgive and heal. So every situation has a couple ways to go, and the outcome depends on you. But look for the good. And number 10 is hug somebody today. So, I was going to have everybody get up and hug each other, but maybe after, right? A hug is really, really amazing. I like Reverend Compton's, all the different ways expressing something, how he gives an example. And he says, have you ever tried to hug yourself? I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same, right? Hug somebody today. In summary, I was going to read a few quotes. Everybody get their anthology yet? Yes. Yeah, it's really amazing, isn't it? This is on a life of gratitude and devotion. I have only one goal in my life. It is to find what I should do so that I can live with a more grateful heart today than yesterday. It is the goal of my life to have a heart which is grateful every day. In order to live endeavoring to a more grateful today than yesterday, and to be more grateful tomorrow than today. But if I frankly confess my heart to you, although I think that it would be wrong of me not to strongly determine to have a grateful heart and go forward every day, sometimes I feel a little weak or emotional. Therefore, I hope you can understand what I'm facing. But if you look at your mother, she goes forward with a smile, right? Things come at her from every direction, and she keeps going forward, praising us, right? Telling us how great we are. Telling us we can do it. And she's mom, She really shows her care and love and giving to us. Just before True Father left for Danbury, he said, "You must not complain. Keep your position and be grateful. And when you become completely one through gratitude, a great miracle will happen." This is a special time, right? True Fathers, Spirit World, and True Mothers here on earth. And together they're working. And miracles can happen. Through forgiveness, through being grateful, through loving and caring. Those who can say thank you honestly without reserve are people who have attained enlightenment. Those who can say thank you honestly and without reserve are people who have attained enlightenment. If you can attain oneness on individual, family, church, tribe, and national levels, then one world centered on God will automatically be realized. We must always start each day with a grateful heart. We are gradually aging, and all people are interested in health. But the most important thing about health is always living with a positive, happy, grateful heart. When we open our eyes in the morning, we should smile and shout out, "Today I'm beginning a happy day." It is said that if we do that, all diseases fall away and endorphins are produced. Therefore, we become more healthy and efficient in our work. And finally, the Pilgrim Fathers crossed over to America because they wanted to get away from the man-made restructures that had come to be placed on the practice of religion in Europe, and able to worship God freely as they wished. They arrived in America in the winter, and even though they suffered from cold and hunger, they put their future first. They offered the gratitude. And through this, God really blessed America. So gratitude is important. Loving is important, forgiving, but today is all about gratitude, ways of gratitude, to be thinking how we can become more grateful. Let's pray.